Understanding the deeper truths about life and our world is both a blessing and a heavy load to carry. Knowing more than the surface can sometimes be a difficult journey. The deeper you look into life's mysteries, the more you see the reality behind appearances, and that's not always easy to handle. Here are 7 harsh truths that highly spiritual people will struggle with, but eventually overcome. Existential crisis. In the heart of spiritual growth, there often lies an existential crisis, a dark night of the soul that each seeker must endure. It is a rite of passage, a descent into the shadowy depths of one's own being. This stage is unavoidable because it is here in the darkness, where the roots of our spirit delve deep into the earth, seeking the nourishment necessary for the soul to flourish. The existential crisis is your soul's summons to a deeper truth, a call to journey into the uncharted territories of your own consciousness. It is an invitation to question, to seek, and to yearn for answers to the fundamental mysteries of existence. This crisis, as disorienting as it may be, serves a divine purpose. It strips away the superficial, revealing to us the essence of who we truly are and what is genuinely important. During this phase, you may find that the very ground beneath your feet begins to shift. What once provided comfort no longer satisfies. Old habits that once seemed harmless now reveal their destructive nature. This is not a punishment, but a process of purification and clarification. As your inner landscape changes, so too will your outer world. Relationships, occupations, and pastimes that do not align with your emerging truth will naturally fall away. This process, while painful, is necessary for growth. It is the shedding of old skin, allowing for the new to emerge. Loss is inherent in this process. Friends who once walked closely by your side may no longer recognize you or wish to journey with you on this new path. It is natural to grieve these losses and feel the pain of their departure. Yet within this pain lies a powerful seed of transformation. As you move through the dark night of the soul, you may feel as if life has lost its meaning. You might feel as though your very existence is in danger due to an inner sense of turmoil and pain. This is the crucible of your transformation, the fire that burns away all that is false, leaving only truth in its wake. The fruits of this journey are manifold, but they require your willingness to accept and learn from these challenges. It is in embracing this darkness, rather than fleeing from it, that you allow your spirit to undergo the metamorphosis that is necessary for true growth. You are being reshaped, remolded from the inside out, and crafted into a vessel capable of holding a purer form of consciousness. The complexity of truth. As a spiritual seeker, you may yearn for absolute truths. However, the more you explore, the more you will find that truth is not always black and white. The spiritual journey is filled with paradoxes and complexities that can be difficult to grasp, and what is true for one person may not be for another. In many spiritual traditions, it is acknowledged that what is true on one level of reality may not be true on another. The truths of the physical world, for example, may not hold in the realm of the spiritual. A statement that is a profound truth in one context might be irrelevant in another. This is where the paradox begins. The complexity of truth also implies a degree of mystery and unknowability. There are aspects of the divine and the universe that are beyond human comprehension. Rather than seeing this as a limitation, it can be viewed as an invitation to explore the vastness of our own ignorance. In a world that often demands black and white answers, this openness can be challenging. Society frequently rewards those who claim to have clear-cut solutions and definitive knowledge. However, when we look at the most profound spiritual teachers throughout history, we see that they often spoke in parables and stories that invited contemplation and personal interpretation, rather than presenting fixed doctrines. So embracing this complexity means making peace with doubt and uncertainty. Doubt can be a powerful tool for growth, prompting us to question, to delve deeper, and to not accept things at face value. Uncertainty can keep us humble and open to new possibilities. It can prevent the spiritual ego from becoming entrenched in its own perceived enlightenment. On your journey, you may discover that some of the beliefs you once held dear no longer serve you. This is a natural part of the evolution of your soul. With each layer of complexity, you gain a deeper understanding of the interconnectedness of all things, the impermanence of form, and the eternal nature of consciousness. Difficulty finding love. The quest for deep, meaningful love is often one of the most profound struggles for those walking a spiritually awakened path. When your soul yearns for a connection that transcends the ordinary, that goes beyond the physical and into the realms of the spiritual and soulful, the journey can feel lonely. You seek not just a partner but a soulmate. I don't mean soulmate as a predestined partner, but rather someone who resonates with your highest self. Your awakening has led you to understand that love is not just an emotion or a physical connection. It is a sacred union, a meeting of souls, and an energy that enriches and elevates. You recognize that every interaction carries the weight of energy exchange, and casual connections no longer satisfy the deeper longing within you. This can indeed make the search for love feel more daunting. In a world that often prizes instant gratification over deep bonding, where swiping left or right has become the norm for finding a mate, your awakened self craves more. You want conversations that stretch into the night, filled with musings about the universe and the essence of being. You seek someone who is not just a lover, but a fellow traveler on the path of enlightenment, someone who understands that love is a spiritual practice, and so it becomes not just about finding love, but about attracting the kind of love that reflects your innermost self. It is about remaining true to your awakened spirit and not compromising on the values and depth you have discovered within yourself. This fidelity to your soul's needs may narrow the path, but it also elevates the journey. It is essential, therefore, to first pour love into oneself. The more you nurture and understand your essence, the more you glow with an inner light that can attract someone who values depth over superficiality. Cultivating self-love creates a foundation for a relationship that is not just about finding a match for your physical presence, but for your soul's presence. This path requires patience. It requires faith, not just in the universe, but in the divine timing of your life. The longing you feel is a signal, a call out into the universe for that kindred spirit. Remember, the universe operates not on our desired schedules, but on a divine timeline that understands when we are truly ready. Ready not just to find love, but to embrace and nurture it. In the meantime, the love that you seek from another is also seeking you. The connections you desire are forming, unseen, preparing to manifest at just the right moment. So while the search for a soulful partner continues, let the love you carry within you be a gift to the world. Let it spill over into your interactions, your creativity, your service to others. In this way, you become a beacon of love, and this light is what will ultimately guide your true love to you. The reality of suffering. One of the most profound truths that spiritual individuals face is the reality of suffering. No matter how advanced one becomes on their spiritual path, suffering is an inescapable part of the human experience. It's a theme that interconnects all lives, and yet it is often the aspect of existence that many of us fear, resist, or misunderstand the most. To embrace the full spectrum of life, including its trials and tribulations, is to open ourselves to the profound teachings that suffering can offer. Suffering comes in many forms: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. It can be as obvious as the pain of a physical injury or as subtle as the ache of a longing heart. Despite its universal nature, suffering is often seen as something to be avoided at all costs. Yet, if we are to grow and mature on our spiritual path, understanding and learning from suffering is crucial. The spiritual approach to suffering is not about seeking it out or glorifying it in any way. Rather, it's about recognizing its role in our evolution. When we experience suffering, it has the potential to crack the surface of our ego, to reveal the deeper layers of our being, and to remind us of our shared vulnerability. Suffering can tear down the walls we've built around our hearts and open us up to a more profound sense of compassion and empathy for ourselves and others. Moreover, suffering is often a catalyst for transformation. It can shake us from complacency, prompting us to question our life's direction, our values, and our purpose. It encourages us to seek new perspectives and to find strength and resilience we may not have known we possessed. The wisdom traditions of the world teach us that the key to dealing with suffering is not to escape it, but to go through it with awareness. This means acknowledging our pain, sitting with it, understanding its roots, and learning what it has to teach us. It's about finding the delicate balance between accepting suffering as a part of life and not becoming identified with it. In other words, we recognize that while we may experience suffering, we are not defined by it. To integrate suffering into our spiritual journey is to allow it to teach us the art of surrender, to let go of what we cannot control, and to focus our energy on what we can influence. It teaches us to be present with what is, rather than what we wish would be. And in that presence, we often find the seeds of healing and growth. Through acts of service, compassion, and kindness, we transform our individual suffering into collective healing, which is a powerful step towards spiritual maturity. The challenge of letting go. The spiritual journey is a profound venture into the unknown, a path laden with challenges that often seem to contradict the very instincts we have as human beings. One such challenge is the act of letting go, which, while seemingly simple, can be one of the most complex and demanding tasks we face. Letting go is not merely a physical release, but a metaphysical one. It's about releasing the tight grip our minds and egos have on ideas, desires, and attachments. This includes letting go of material possessions, outdated beliefs, old grudges, and past disappointments, anything that hinders our spiritual growth and freedom. Why is letting go so difficult? Our ego, which is the sense of a separate self, is built on attachment. It finds identity in the past and security in the familiar. Our psyche is wired to cling to experiences, relationships, and identities that it has grown accustomed to, even when they no longer serve us or cause us pain. This clinging gives us an illusory sense of control and safety. Letting go requires us to confront the unknown, to embrace uncertainty, and to trust in the unfolding of life. It asks us to surrender to a greater wisdom, a universal flow that governs all of existence. The practice of letting go is deeply interwoven with the practice of trust. Trusting the process of life requires a leap of faith, a faith that doesn't rest on the predictability of outcomes, but on the inherent goodness of the universe. When we let go, we make room for new experiences, opportunities, and perspectives to enter our lives. It's about creating space for growth and expansion. Letting go also means forgiving ourselves and others. Forgiveness is a release of the heavy burden of resentment and animosity, which can block the flow of spiritual energy in our lives. Through forgiveness, we liberate ourselves from the chains of negative past experiences and open our hearts to the healing power of love. Each act of letting go is a lesson in humility and an acknowledgement of the transient nature of all things. It is a practice that aligns us with the truth that everything is impermanent, and that our true essence is not found in the external trappings of life, but in the depths of our being. The work of self-reflection. The journey within is not always a comfortable one. Highly spiritual people often find that self-reflection requires them to confront parts of themselves that they may not like. Self-reflection is an art, a sacred dialogue with oneself. It involves turning inward, peering into the places within us that are often veiled in darkness, the fears, insecurities, and suppressed emotions that reside in what Carl Jung termed the shadow. This shadow is not just a repository of negative traits, but also of potential gifts, unexplored talents and energies that have been pushed aside in our quest for social acceptance. Engaging in shadow work, then, is a commitment to truth. It requires us to acknowledge that our darker characteristics are as much a part of us as our virtues. This acknowledgement is not an act of self-condemnation, but an embrace of the totality of our being. It is in the soil of this acceptance that the seeds of transformation are sown. The process of self-reflection and shadow work is an excavation. It is digging deep into the psyche to unearth the roots of our behaviors and emotions. It's about asking the hard questions. Why do I react this way? What am I truly afraid of? Where did this belief about myself originate? This is the work of warriors, for it takes a stout heart to face oneself completely. In this inner work, we are not looking to discard parts of ourselves or to create a new persona. Rather, we are seeking to integrate all aspects of our being into a harmonious whole. As spiritual beings, we are called not to perfection, but to wholeness. This wholeness encompasses the light and the dark, the seen and the unseen, the known and the mysterious. It is in the embrace of this wholeness that we find the truest expression of freedom. An endless journey. The spiritual journey often begins with the misconception that there is a finite end, a pinnacle of enlightenment that, once reached, will render us complete, our quest concluded. But the reality of the spiritual path is far different, and indeed, far more beautiful. It is an endless journey, not a destination. This journey is just like the flow of a river, constantly moving, constantly changing, and never exactly the same in any two moments. Learning to embrace the fluid nature of life and our personal development is central to spiritual growth. It's in the perpetual flow where we find the essence of our existence, not in any static state of arrival. The spiritual path is not about becoming someone else, but about continuously becoming more profoundly and authentically ourselves. Each moment presents an opportunity to learn, to expand, to deepen our understanding of who we are and how we connect to the world around us. If the concept of never-ending improvement feels daunting, consider the alternative, a stagnation of spirit, a life devoid of discovery, a journey cut short. It's the ongoing nature of the journey that keeps life vibrant and exciting. The realization that there is no ultimate state of enlightenment to achieve frees us from the pressure of arriving and allows us to fully engage with the process itself. You may find that the milestones you once sought, becoming a master or reaching enlightenment, shift and evolve as you do. Enlightenment is not a permanent state to achieve. It's a series of moments, insights, and experiences that enlighten us to new aspects of our existence. It is not the cessation of learning, but the embrace of continuous growth. This journey is not without its challenges. There will be highs and lows, successes and failures, joys and sorrows. Yet it's through this spectrum of experience that we come to appreciate the fullness of life. As you continue on your path, let this knowledge be your guide and your comfort. The journey is endless, and that is not a burden, but a gift, the precious gift of eternal becoming. I hope these words bring some light into your soul. If you're still with me, I would like to thank you for tuning in. If this message resonates with you, please share it with someone who may need it and share your experience in the comments below. I hope you have a wonderful time ahead. May God bless you.